The gift of resentment. I was doing my journaling this morning and realizing that I was feeling a pretty big resentment to a bunch of the people who are in my field, who do what I do for a living, only are more famous, more successful, more organized, more succinct, and I judge more effective than I am at what I do. I hate admitting this. You come here and listen to my podcast, but I was just feeling kind of inadequate this morning, and what I realized was first was I was feeling kind of anger and resentment at some people who are quite successful, and I deem not worthy of that success. But that's not the point of this podcast. That's not the point of what I'm trying to talk to you about today. I want to talk about the gift of resentment. So when I have a resentment, and this is in Only Tens 2.0, I talk about this all the time. When I have a resentment, that's usually a trigger that there's something going on with me. If I feel this resentment, if I'm angry at someone, and I have some really hard, harsh, judgy thoughts, that is really a clue that I need to do some work, that I need to get a pen and paper out, or I need to talk to someone who I trust, who can help me do some self reflection. Because if I have a resentment, it usually means that I haven't set a boundary or I haven't asked for what I want. So if I have a resentment, if I feel resentment, if I feel anger towards someone, if I feel judgy towards someone, and I call that resentment and it's eating at me, it usually means I haven't set a boundary. In other words, I said, don't do that. Please, please don't, like I didn't tell them how I want to be treated. I didn't ask them to treat me in a certain way, or I didn't ask for what I want. I didn't say, I would like you to go take the laundry upstairs. Right. I just assumed you would take up the laundry upstairs. So in other words, I had expectations that someone didn't fill. So I didn't set a boundary, or I didn't ask for what I want. And sometimes it takes a little while to get underneath that anger that someone should have known, should have seen, should have read my mind, should have done things the way I would have had them do it. But then there's that other piece. Sometimes I didn't set a boundary. Sometimes I didn't ask for what I want. And sometimes I'm just a little jealous. Or maybe a lot jealous. And that's when I start to see that. And it's really icky to feel that I'm angry or judgy about someone who, again, who does what I do and is famous for it. And I start picking at them. That's my clue to go do some work. And I don't like that work. This self inquiry stuff is not fun. To sit down and write in a journal, I'm angry at this person. I have these thoughts. And Byron Katie's The Work is really useful for this kind of thing. She has a thing called Judge Your Neighbor Worksheet. So in other words, you just judge the shit out of them, and then you turn it around on yourself to see, where are you kind of the same way? What are you trying to hide by being angry and judgmental and resentment? So for me, when I look at these people, what I realize is I'm jealous at their ability to communicate. I'm jealous of their ability to organize themselves. I'm jealous of how they show up on camera, how they show up on social media. I'm jealous of how people respond to them. So I'm trying. For me, that means I need to up level my game. I either need to be able to be willing to do what they do to get where they get, or I need to shut up. So in other words, for me, that really meant that I need to double down on my game. I want to make more of an impact. I want my podcast to be more successful. I want my writing to be more well read. I want my videos to have more impact. I want to make more impact in the world. So I need to show up more. I need to be willing to do more marketing. I haven't been willing to do marketing. I need to be willing to show up. I need to be willing to be polarizing. I need to be willing to say what I need to say. So the gift of resentment, I don't know what it is for you, but the gift of resentment for me is the opportunity to do self inquiry. What do I need to ask for? What boundary do I need to set? Where am I trying to get people to read my mind, right? Where do I have expectations where I need to set up an agreement? And where am I jealous so that I am called out to to step up my game? So hopefully what you see for me is me stepping up my game from that self-inquiry, and that these people are now examples of what I want to do in the world rather than examples of my resentment. Does that make any sense at all? I hope so. Uh, so I'm spilling my guts here for you, so maybe you could learn something for you. I love you guys. Thanks for hanging with me. Thanks for always listening. Thanks for the feedback. I appreciate it. Have a great rest of the day.